Hey, it's me. So today, as you can tell from the title, we've got another episode of Nish Commentary. This has been inspired by some recent events. So the series Nish Commentary, my vision of it wasn't necessarily to spend all my time calling bitches out, but I do realize that the majority of my Nish Commentary episodes have been just that. So, I still stand by that. I still look forward to having different discussions on Nish Commentary. I got 2 more weeks of school left, and then I'm graduating, and then YouTube will forever be my playground. So, but here we are. It's another episode where I have a problem with somebody. And in fact, a lot of people have a problem with this person. There's been a lot of confusion. This person has blocked out a lot of necessary information from their timeline, their followers. And, I just want to kind of like clear the air, let people know what's going on. And then whoever doesn't know about the situation at all and has been supporting this person, they might have the opportunity to have this information provided for them so that they can make a decision on whether or not they want to continue to support this person. Now, elephant in the room, I do realize that there is a mic right here. This is because my audio typically sucks, and I'm just trying to address that with what I have. Also, I'm in the back of my vehicle because it's quarantine right now. My family is home and loud, and I can't film it, something like this, with them running circles around me. So if the woman in question or her supporters and followers want to give me shit for sitting in the back of my vehicle and talking shit, then so be it. I really don't give a fuck. I realize that this is a weird setup and I don't care. So first, I really want to give a background of the situation and tell you a little bit more about this person. And then once I do that, I'll go on to give a clarification. So the background might take some time. If you know what happened and you're not interested in learning more, I'll put a timestamp right here where you can jump to that timestamp and just kind of like hear my thoughts on the situation. Okay, grab your popcorn, grab your whatever. So this started back on February 3rd when I uploaded my video about the beaded eyebrow. Yes, I'm here talking about it again, whatever. It's relevant, okay? And keep in mind the date. It was February 3rd when I did this. And when I upload videos, I also tweet out a link to the video as well as the thumbnail, just kind of like announcing that I've uploaded in case anybody from my Twitter wants to check out the video, right? So yeah, if you're not really familiar with kind of like what took place there, I filmed a video of me beating my eyebrow and uploaded it to YouTube. I had actually originally planned on beating eyeshadow. Probably, I think back in like November or something was when I first thought about it. And around that time where I thought of it, my friend actually DM'd me, not knowing that I had any intention to do this. She randomly DM'd me like, haha, look at this. And it was somebody who had beaded eyeshadow. And this person is at honeydon't. A link to their Instagram will be in the description box below. I believe they are black. And they beaded their eyeshadow. So when when my friend showed me that, I was like, well, I didn't do it. So I wasn't in a hurry to do it. At the time, I was still thinking about okay, sometime I will, but I'm not going to like put a rush on it because, well, somebody already went and did it. And then my friend, she said, well, why don't you just bead your eyebrows? So I originally wasn't a fan of her idea just because I wasn't sure how I would do it. Like, it sounded like a good idea in theory, but in practice I was confused on how I would pull that off. So again, I waited all the way until February where I was like, okay, I have an idea. I'll cover up my eyebrow with glue, like I got that inspiration from drag queens because that's how they cover up their eyebrows. And then I glued individual beads onto my frickin' eyebrow, and from there it took off. To be honest, like, I've spoken about this before, I didn't realize that it would. I didn't think that people would like it that much, but they did. Hey, Editing Chelsea here. I did go on to speak about like the success of the beaded eyebrow, like having publications and stuff, and it just, for the sake of time, I'm gonna have to cut all that out. I'm just going to take a moment to post some screenshots of the awesomeness. Carry on. The reason I really enforced that date where I uploaded this video as February 3rd is because that date is important. I tweeted out the link to the video on that very same day as well. I always do, like the second I hit upload, I go ahead and post it on my social medias. And there was a mutual of mine who is at Native Witch. They actually commented under that post, like on that same day, on February 3rd, saying this inspired me to do a beaded eye look. Just keep that in mind. We're going to talk a little bit more about that later. Fast forward 2 weeks, another person wanted to give this a try. And this would be, I believe her name is Madison, just based off of her, I don't know, on February 17th, Madison she tweets out pictures of a beaded eyeshadow look, and it is a native design. Her tweet read, "I decided to bead some eyeshadow to match my earrings. Hashtag native Twitter." So later on, I actually took like a screenshot of me scrolling through this thread, and I'm just gonna kind of like go over this thread with you for a moment. So first she does that, then she kind of addresses the virility of the tweet. So she's like, oh my god, you know, this blew up, and then answers questions people have about whether she can open her eyes. Then she promotes her Instagram, she promotes a friend of hers, and then she announces that she wants to talk about missing and murdered Indigenous women, MMIWG. She announces to people that she doesn't want non-natives to appropriate the look because she did in fact use a native design, and she didn't want people who do not utilize beadwork in their culture to do it, which is something that I stand behind as well. Over an hour after she tweeted that link, somebody comments under there and says that it reminds them of my look. And to that, she responds that she was inspired by me, kinda. Okay. So something that's interesting to note about this person saying that it reminded them of me, and that I inspired her, kinda, and she tagged me like, oh, it was Chelsea Mooner. She inspired me, kinda. Most of those tweets that I just showed you in her thread, those weren't added all at one time. Her thread was a continuous build-up throughout the night, and starting at those tweets where she brings up MMIWG, those were tweeted like an hour or two after she tagged me. So like, she tagged me in this person's comment but didn't bring me up in her thread. The only other mention of me in this thread was 2 days after that, on the 19th. Somebody just asked for native MUAs, and she listed, I think, 3 other MUAs and tagged me. Sorry, the other ones are actually legitimate MUAs. I did that because I don't really consider myself a makeup artist. An enthusiast is more like it. I'm not gonna lie, I noticed this right away. As soon as people were like, look Chelsea, look at this girl that beaded her eyeshadow, and I'm looking at it, and nowhere am I mentioned, And then she tags me and tells this person, oh, Chelsea actually inspired me. And so at the time, I will admit that I did feel some type of way, but I was really confused with myself on how I should feel, because she did eventually tell this one person, she gave them my @ she said that she was inspired by me, kinda. But at the same time, I felt weird that my name wasn't mentioned right away. And then she didn't even fully admit that she was inspired. She said she inspired me, kinda. Like, what the fuck does that even mean? But I mean, I like gaslighted myself, because for one, like I just said, she did end up giving me some sort of credit to this one person, and then announced me to another person who was looking for native content. But I also told people after the whole beaded eyebrow thing, like, people, do it. I want you guys to do it. I want to see your looks. Basically, I was just happy that I provided something for my people, like, across the continent. You know, not just my people necessarily, but all of the native peoples who are interested in it anyway. And, you know, one girl did a beaded lip, another girl ended up doing a beaded highlighter. Like, it was really fun. And because I told people to run with it, basically, I gaslighted myself into, like, I doubted myself on whether it was valid for me to feel some type of way about Madison not crediting me, because of the fact that I told people to run with it, and because I wasn't sure if I really did deserve credit for it, whether I should have been able to demand it. Because when this first took off and people did tag me, I felt like, oh my god, you didn't have to do that. Thank you. Your look is so cute. And I almost feel like even if somebody did do a beaded look and they didn't tag me right away, I don't know if I would have felt that kind of like betrayed by it if they didn't kind of like make a go around and be kind of shady like she did. Like, oh, she inspired me, kinda. Okay, so fast forward to April 7th, just a few days ago. Native Witch, who, remember her? She is the one who commented on my original tweet on February 3rd, saying that she wanted to do a beaded eyeshadow look. So on the 7th, she goes on and she does that. She creates a beautiful look. I really love her design, by the way. She tweets that out, and in the following tweet, she credits me. All is well for a while, a day or two, how long? I don't know, whatever. All is well for a while, and everybody's just loving it. Soon, a follower or two kind of like sprinkle into this thread. I specifically remember this one girl who actually, she didn't even say anything. She just shared Madison's eyeshadow tweet underneath the tweet where Native Witch credited me for inspiration. And, you know, even though she didn't say anything, that basically insinuates like, well, here's Madison, she did it first, like, she should be the one that's credited, right? Last month, Native Witch approached me and reminded me of her tweet where she said she wanted to try a beaded eyeshadow look. What was interesting about that was Madison liked that tweet. And the reason that Native Witch had only brought it up during that time, like last month, was because Madison was actually receiving backlash for a completely different issue, and Native Witch was kind of like well, I feel comfortable talking about this now. I think it's also important to kind of touch on this subject real quick, just talk about what this situation is and other situations that Madison has been in, because they provide more insight into why myself and so many other people are having such a deep problem with this. So at this time, the issue that motivated Native Witch to speak up was because we call it the Brother Bear. I'm going to dub it Brother Bear Gate, okay? And from that, she's actually received the name as like Brother Bear Girl. Everybody's like, is this the girl from Brother Bear? Is this the Brother Bear Girl? Yes, she is the Brother Bear Girl. So in early March, I believe like March 6th, or 5th or 7th, one of those days, Madison tweets out a thread telling people, hey, if you're looking for accurate representation of Native Americans, watch the Brother Bear movie. So she started with that and then started like explaining why she thought Brother Bear was an accurate representation of Native peoples. She also brought up Moana and why she thought that Moana was an accurate representation of Indigenous Pacific Islanders. Some Indigenous Pacific Islanders actually approached her and said, look, Moana is not accurate. Can you delete this, please? And she did. So what was left in that thread was only the information about Brother Bear. The moment that this kind of took off was when another person who is a Nuk, they're Yupik. I'm going to protect their name. I didn't gain their permission to say their name or show their image. But they actually commented under Madison's tweet, basically saying the same shit that the Pacific Islanders said. Hey, actually Brother Bear is based off of like a mashup of 3 different Inuit tribes. Can you delete this because it is not accurate? Actually, I don't remember if they specifically requested it be deleted right then and there. Basically, they just said it was inaccurate and, you know, it's a cute movie and all, but it's not accurate and you shouldn't be telling people that it is. Instead of hearing this person out, they completely ignored them and hid their reply. So if you're not aware of this Twitter function, you can actually select tweets to be hidden from the main pool of comments, and those will go into like a separate area. They can only be hidden by the original tweet author. In this case, would be Madison. Madison hid this Yupik person's tweet telling her that it was inaccurate. People noticed and they were like, what the fuck? Why did you hide their tweet? You know, this makes you look guilty. You should be addressing this situation. In the meantime, other Inuit are commenting under her tweet saying the same thing. Yo, this ain't accurate. Yo, this is misinformation. Yo, can you delete this? Yo, why are you hiding our replies? Why are you hiding other people's replies? And again, she's either ignoring these people and hiding their replies, or she's insulting them and refusing to listen to anything they have to say. She was also blocking people as well. She blocked so many people, it kind of became like a running joke. It wasn't just Inuit that were calling her out. Other people from other Native nations, including myself, noticed what she was doing, and so we decided to speak up as well. So long story short, there was no accountability. She refused to delete the thread. It went fucking viral. Like, I don't remember exactly how many it got to, but I think like a couple 100K likes on it. On top of that, it got so popular that it spread over to other platforms. But it wasn't always that viral. That's like what it ended up being. When this Yupik person first called her out, it wasn't that popular. It wasn't that big. If she had listened to the Inuit that were saying, please delete this because this is misinformation and you're hurting us, then it wouldn't have gotten as big as it did. There wouldn't be thousands upon thousands. There wouldn't be hundreds of thousands of non-native people thinking that Brother Bear is a proper representation of Inuit culture. Or, in fact, that's not even what they're thinking. They ain't even thinking that it's Inuit culture. She said Native American. They think that that is Native American culture now. And if you don't think that that's a big deal, then you need to do some research maybe and just kind of like sit there and think about why not understanding peoples who are different from you, who have faced such a bloody history and continue to face such a bloody history, why understanding one another is imperative in solving these issues. If we can't understand one another, if they don't understand us, if they don't understand Inuit, then tell me how you're raising awareness, Madison. Like, how does that work? The seagulls want answers too. Oh, it doesn't stop there. In fact, it didn't begin there. And it didn't begin with her not crediting me for the beaded eyeshadow look either. So back in October, I'll admit I wasn't here for this situation. I know about it now. Anyway, back in October, Madison created a makeup look using the MMIW handprint. Now, we all know that the MMIW handprint is symbolic for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls and men and Indigenous peoples as a whole. Now, pump the brakes before y'all go posting in the comments your opinions. I am aware that there are differing opinions on whether glam makeup is an appropriate avenue for raising awareness of MMIW. Many Native people believe that glam makeup is an inappropriate way of raising awareness because it glorifies MMIW, it romanticizes it, it exploits it, especially in terms of like being an influencer and having your social media presence gain notoriety off of this. It's like, in a way, it's capitalizing off of it. You're capitalizing off of a tragedy. Other people view it as a form of raising awareness because in the end, you are getting attention for the look. People are drawn to it. They may go on to look more into the situation and learn more about the epidemic and become aware of it to begin with. A lot of people, it's a silent epidemic. A lot of people don't know that it's happening. This isn't just an MMIW thing. This kind of polarization of opinions spans to other issues as well. For example, Cole Kerrigan did a makeup look of the California wildfires on his face. Some people were like, he's just trying to raise awareness for an issue. And then other people were like, you are glorifying a tragedy. People are dying. They're losing their homes. They're losing their jobs. Like, this is a big fucking deal. And you're making a makeup look out of it, like a glam makeup look. Really, like. Now back to the situation in October. She was basically being called out by people who believed that it was wrong of her to post a MMIW, a glamorized MMIW look. So not only was this something that happened back in October, it was also brought up again during Brother Bear Gate. And okay, so Zoe, who has given me permission to use her name, Native Witch has as well, by the way, Zoe brings it up to Madison. I did not see the context of the rest of their conversation. I've only seen this moment that I'm about to bring up. Anyway, they're in each other's DMs, and Zoe brings it up to Madison, like, hey, I remember you did this. Back in October, you created that MMIW look. I don't agree with it. You shouldn't have done that, and this is why. And Madison, she thinks that it's a bright fucking response to Zoe. You know, you got her there. To tell Zoe that MMIW is not a tragedy. Missing and murdered Indigenous woman is not a tragedy. MMIW is not a tragedy. It is a movement, she said. She said that to somebody who has experience with family members being an MMIW. Imagine that leaving your mouth. Missing and murdered Indigenous woman is not a tragedy. It is a movement. Missing and murdered Indigenous women or men or people, everybody who goes missing and murdered, that is a tragedy. That is fucking tragic. This is an epidemic. This is huge. There are thousands upon thousands of missing, and like the name speaks for itself. It doesn't need to be explained. There's thousands upon thousands of missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. You all know, I don't know why I'm explaining this. You guys all know like why this is such an issue. I could make a whole video about MMIW and how fucking tragic it is. So when I seen that shit, I was livid, and I wasn't the only one. So many people were just fucking pissed off by that. So not only during this era did she spread misinformation, harm Inuit, insult Inuit, she also fucking said that missing and murdered Indigenous women wasn't tragic. It was a movement. Like, bitch, a movement is fucking free the nipple. It's the movement called Don't Tell Me Not to Smile. Those are movements. This is a fucking tragedy, okay? So that combo of harming Inuit and harming Indigenous women and girls, that pretty much canceled her in the entire online Native community's eyes, and it also canceled her in my eyes too, because I unfollowed her ass after following her for like a whole 2 weeks. Anyway, I unfollowed her, and then after that, like, I'm reading more into the situation. I'm seeing like so many people are coming out with their opinions and thoughts on this, right? And I'm especially paying attention to Inuit who are talking about it. And then something else grabs my attention. And unfortunately, I don't have any receipts of this, because this woman who eventually came out with this information, I believe has since been suspended because of Madison. Allegedly. I don't really know if Madison is at fault. That's just what I've been told, that it was a conflict with Madison that got this person suspended, which probably makes sense, because the information that they came out with was the fact that Madison was threatening to fucking find this person. I don't remember the exact verbiage, like verbatim what she said to this woman, but I do remember it being extremely violent, and basically that she was going to track this girl down and hurt her, because I believe they were both being played by the same guy. And not only was she threatening to find and hurt this girl over some guy, she like stalked this girl for I believe like 2 years. Like, it wasn't a recent situation. This happened over a long period of time, and she kept finding this girl and like DMing her and threatening her. It's been brought to my attention that Madison also doxed this girl by posting the girl's address in the bio of an account that Madison used to DM her. The girl did post a screenshot. She had receipts of DMs from Madison actually saying this shit. I unfortunately don't have those receipts because, as I mentioned before, the girl has been suspended. So I wasn't able to track down those receipts, and I did not save them at the time that I seen them. Yeah, at this point, I'm pretty fucking glad that I unfollowed her and I felt like I made the right decision. And she didn't quite agree with me because she DM'd me like later in the evening during this whole situation. Like, how the fuck did she even have time? Because here's the thing, she was in several different people's DMs on this day. She must have been just like the entire fucking day, right? She DM'd me because she noticed that I unfollowed her, and she I'm not going to go into complete detail of what we said back and forth, but she was basically like, really, after everything I did for you, you're going to unfollow me? Here's the thing, we were mutuals for like 2 weeks, Madison, and I don't really understand how you think you supported me. First of all, like I said, we only were mutuals for like a couple weeks. And the amount of times that you mentioned my name was like, what, 3 or 4 times? And I'm sorry, but mentioning somebody's name, like tagging their name in a thread asking for native MUAs is like thank you, but you didn't exactly do anything where I would name you my kid's fucking godmother, okay? Like, I don't really understand where you get this idea that you just did so much to support me. Like, it was a few things, honey. Calm down, humble yourself. Second of all, I don't understand how you think you supported me when you couldn't even fucking tag me in your thread where you did the beaded eyeshadow. Thanks for the support. Like, I already explained my feelings about that. So yeah, don't know how you think you supported me there. Third of all, I am not like, I feel like you projected onto me a little bit with that. Like, after everything I did to support you, I am not looking to build like a fucking influencer career. Like, I think you are. And I think that's why you projected that idea that we need to like support each other even when the other one fucks right up like that and does horrendous things like you did. This is not what I'm after. I'm just having fun. I don't even consider myself a native MUA, a native makeup artist. I would say I'm more so a makeup enthusiast. And my presence here on YouTube, yes, I am monetized now, and this video will be monetized. I make sense for each video, and I'm not looking to build myself up to be the next fucking J-star or whatever. So like, humble yourself, girl, because just because you're out here looking for as much clout as possible doesn't mean the rest of us are. Like, this is not why I'm doing this. I'm having fun on the internet. Okay, I know this video's getting long. Okay, so fast forward to now. Again, we're gonna fast forward to now again. So yeah, she posted, I talked about that. People were saying that she should be the one credited. I talked about that. It eventually gets back to Madison. Madison discovers that this girl, that native witch, did a look, posted it, credited me, and that Madison's followers wanted Madison to be the one credited. So Madison, she goes on and quote tweets it, saying, "I understand y'all don't like me anymore, but there's really no reason to shun me and not credit me for my idea." That's kind of where shit blew up. She gets called out by me. She gets called out by Native Witch. She gets called out by like everybody, basically. And, you know, it was basically like a repeat of Brother Beargate. She hid replies. She insulted people. She blocked people. And she continued to spread this narrative that it was her idea to do beaded eyeshadow and that she was being just so mistreated. She's such a victim, and Native Twitter is awful and they hate me and they're so mean. This is my idea. I deserve credit, right? And then among her victimization, she ends up subtweeting, we believe this was a subtweet to somebody in our friend group. She ends up subtweeting them that she is going to spear you through the ribs and scalp you like Christopher Columbus. Now, I have known some pretty hateful natives in my day. You know, just because we're native doesn't mean we're perfect. Of course, there's some hateful motherfuckers in our communities. And I ain't ever heard a single one of them say that they're going to scalp somebody like Christopher Columbus. Not to mention, she's basically teaching her non-native followers that using Columbus is an acceptable clapback. I mean, threatening somebody over fucking beads on a face, that's a bit much. But also using Christopher Columbus to do that, like, that is so disgusting and gross. And so yeah, she didn't stop there. She kept saying that she wasn't inspired by me. She didn't have to credit me because I did an eyebrow and she did eyeshadow. Okay, they're just so much more different. Even though she did the exact same way that I did, she glued it on her fucking face, and so did I. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. Anyway, so we were disgusted by the Christopher Columbus thing. We were disgusted by other things that she said. And by this time, it's like the end of the night, right? And we all go to bed, we wake up the next day, and we have some discussions amongst our group about basically what beadwork means to us as Native peoples. We talked about like our spirituality. We talked about how we feel about beadwork, how we regard beadwork, and kind of like came to the conclusion that while Madison did deserve to be called out for this, that this was a situation where Madison needed to be corrected, we also needed to make this negative situation positive again somehow. So yeah, we decided to cool it and not necessarily call it quits, but like just take it easy from now on. And a couple of us, including myself, we tweeted something out like, you know, I'm just going to say what I said. I basically told people, like, please don't feel like you can't have fun with beaded makeup. Like, go on, do it. I really want this to be positive again, and I hope that Madison can find some positivity and proper headspace in her life. And this kind of, like, positivity, let's be honest, it was short-lived. Not at our fault. Because we found out that there were two very different but the same tweets that she put out. So the first one, she tweets out from her main account where she asked people to copy and paste her eyeshadow look under Native Witch's eyeshadow look because it isn't fair to her. Again, still insinuating that she's the one that needs to be credited. And then somebody else alerts us that Madison actually has another account. And I believe this is an NSFW account. Allegedly, don't hold me to that. I think that's what it is. And she basically tweets out the same type of thing, just different verbiage. And this one, she asked, or she doesn't ask, she like literally begs people, she begs them, please go spam Native Witch with my eyeshadow look and I'll repay you in nudes that I haven't posted yet. And then goes on to beg more in a following tweet saying, please, I'm having a really hard time right now. She's begging people on her NSFW account and her main account to basically go and spam Native Witch, go and bother her, and probably even attack her in the name of Madison. Madison is trying to like build an army to pile them on Native Witch. Like, if that's not lateral violence, like, it is. It's lateral violence. She's sending people, an army of people, to go attack a fellow Native woman. Make that make sense. Now that you know what happened, I got the background out of the way. This is the part where I'm going to kind of just like talk about my thoughts on this. Anyway, whatever. So my issue with this, as well as others' issues with this, is more than just who did it first, where does the credit go, yada yada. Something that I noticed in the Native community especially, and something that was really being focused on by Madison and her followers, her supporters, those who were like arguing against myself and Native Witch and our friend group and anybody who's supporting us, everybody, something that they were focusing on was the idea of credit. Who gets the credit? Who invented makeup, basically? Who invented putting beads on their face? And because of that, other people, especially in the Native community, were treating this as if it was fucking drama. Like, these bitches are all just being so dramatic. I can't believe they're fighting over who put beads on their face first. I'm a misogynist. Fuck you, bitches. It wasn't necessarily about that. Yeah, that was a topic of discussion. We were more so addressing a pattern of behavior, and not crediting the look was part of that behavior. I think that the whole dialogue of who should be credited for Native Witch's eyeshadow look was much louder than the rest of the dialogue, because she fucking kept spinning it and making comments about it being her idea and blah blah blah, and then we have to address those comments, right? But it wasn't just about who deserves credit for what. Yeah, that was a piece of it, but we noticed that there was something up with this girl. The MMIWG look, the Brother Beargate, finding out that she stalked and threatened another woman. She's kind of like rising, gaining followers, gaining notoriety, rising in this world of influencers at the expense of the rest of us. So, I mean, that's just it. The overall idea, the overall issue that we have with her is the fact that she steps on other natives for clout. She pushes other natives down so that she can step over them and get ahead. After Brother Beargate, the majority of her native following left her ass because we didn't agree with her demeanor, the way she was fucking treating us. So, and part of our criticism of her was her pandering and performing to the non-native gaze, to the white gaze. She's like using her identity as a native person for clout at the expense of the rest of us. So this whole thing, it isn't just about me. It isn't just about Native Witch. It's, like I said, a whole pattern of behavior that we're criticizing here, and there are just so many people that are affected by her actions. I mean, one may say that we're acting a little harsh right now, but for one, this has been going on for months. And for another, myself and other people have been approached by numerous people who are like ex-followers of her now. Some of them even said, thank you for doing this because you exposing her, basically, you informed me that I was following somebody who does things that I don't agree with. And, you know, I wish it didn't have to be this way. To be completely honest, as I'm sitting here talking about this, like, I feel like I'm tearing another Native woman down, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to feel like I'm tearing somebody down when we should be uplifting each other. But the truth is, that's what she does to other people. I guess my only hope is that she doesn't have to go down. She doesn't have to be canceled. I hope that she can find ways to make this right. So I've devised a little list here. Madison, hope you're watching. You probably are. The first thing I want you to do, and I hope you say thank you and credit me for this. Just kidding. Anyway, the first thing I want you to do is to figure out how to appropriately apologize to people and to make things right. I want you to figure out how to apologize to people. I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to do it. Number 2, do so with the people that you've threatened and that you've hurt. Number 3, accept that they may not be willing to work with you, and that is valid. Just because you apologize to somebody doesn't mean that they have to accept it, and you need to be okay with that. Next, be more responsible with how you handle Native issues and representation. Be more cognizant of how you do these things, as well as being a more responsible and cognizant MUA. Beaded eyeshadow and beaded eyebrows are indeed similar. They're beaded makeup, and I think that we all need to remember that yes, you did see my beaded eyebrow. You did see that and then go on to do your own version of it. That is inspiration. I don't give a fuck what anybody says, especially since you did it the exact same way I did. You glued each individual bead on. Now, I later learned that this isn't the best practice. You owed people credit. You owed me credit, and you continued to fight for the fact that you felt like you needed to be credited by a Native witch when you didn't. You were inspired by me. You were. Just fucking admit it. You weren't kind of inspired. You were fully inspired, and you lied. And you continue to tell people, I want to address this right here, right now, because I think I forgot this in the whole background part. You told people, I did credit Chelsea. I put it in my Instagram bio, or my Instagram description of the picture. You put that in there yesterday. I got a fucking screenshot that shows the last time you edited it. And I know that wasn't in there before because I looked when that all first happened. Remember, I said that I felt some type of way for not being credited. I wasn't just talking about the Twitter version of you announcing your look. I was also talking about the Instagram version. Not only that, but you forgot to edit a very crucial part of that post where it still says, if you do this, credit me because it's my original idea. Those are Madison's words. And they're still there. And don't worry, the video's almost done. But I do want to point something else out. That I wasn't even the first one to put beads on my face. While I was the first Native to put beads on my face, I was the first to put Native designs on my face, I was not the first to put beads on my face. And this person did in fact do an eyeshadow look. So there's more evidence that Madison, you were not the first to put beads on your fucking eyelids. And second, before, I just want to clear this out, before you go on and say anything about my crediting practices, I put it directly in my video. Yeah, from here on out, I just want to continue working on myself, working on leading a positive life, working on my beadwork, developing beaded eyebrows for people to purchase, and I want people to feel like they can do this themselves as well. I don't want to remove any inspiration in others to do a beaded eye look. And in fact, I do plan on doing an eyebrow tutorial here soon, super soon, by the way. I sincerely hope that Madison can work on herself, work on her positivity, work on being, more positive, work on her health, physical, mental, spiritual. Because, like I said, I don't want her to fucking go down in flames. But she does have some things that she needs to address and work out. And basically, she just needs to stop being a clown. Yeah, that's all I have for today. If I forgot anything, sorry. Follow me on Twitter. I bitch a lot on there. If you don't agree with me, then, I don't want to hear it. This is the hill I'm going to die on. Anyway, Bama Pigwa, man!